Part 2. This is Ads and Small But Angry present Hits for the Gutter. So this is a 12-inch, a 10-inch, it's a 10-inch split. We love to see trash. I'm going to get into what my favorite album of all time is and some power pop. But first, the very first thing I have to do, power pop fans are going to be mad when I consider some of this stuff to be power pop. Okay, the first thing I have to do is to get the rest of this emo out of the way. And this is Don Treader and Damore. I wrote what it was on here because I could not figure it out for the life of me. And none of the tracks are titled. But this is Don Treader, which became one of my favorite emo violence bands. I didn't listen to it until a while later. All I wanted was, when I was buying records, was just the power violence, I suppose, power violence and grindcore. I thought that crust punk was what I was looking for, and Nausea was like my favorite band, but then I realized I don't really like Nausea that much. I feel really bad, but Extinction. Yeah, I had the oh, I need to get that vest out for one of these videos. I had the Extinction back patch, but just not, it didn't, I was like, no, it's something else I'm looking for. So I just always thought it was hardcore, but I think power violence is what I wanted. By the way, welcome to Noise with Ivan. Roll the intro. Facade Burned Black, another amazing, right beside the Shivering, another amazing power violence. No, oh my gosh, emo violence, scrams type of thing. And these are perfect. It's like, you can listen to, like, let's say you were going to listen to your favorite there's an aspect to Death Consciousness, the album. That wasn't the name. Okay, like Death Consciousness. There's an aspect to listening to that, right? It's like oh, this came out a long time ago. It came out in a weird place. It was a really big project, but it's been hidden, right? It was just resurfaced, and it was forgotten. You took the dust off the cover, right? You found the message that has been hidden, that has been lost, that no one ever heard, that someone recorded before they killed themselves and no one ever heard about it, you know? It's amazing. You're like, oh my goodness, this great piece of art from this maniac who no one's ever heard anything from for all this time. It was really this experience, though. Like, really, like, no one, like, this wasn't getting a record from a dollar bin and having it be this kind of thing, and hearing emo violence for the first time, and it's this great emotional, like the Human Hands, right? Self-titled. Can you imagine if you didn't hear that for the first time on YouTube? I know you heard it on YouTube. I know you know that album, right? Can you imagine if you just found that record and you didn't know what it was, and you went ahead and put it on the turntable? Can you imagine if your grandpa had that record and you were going through his house, he died, you're going through his house, right? You put that record on and that's what it is, right? Let's say it's 20 years from now, right? And it's as old as some of this stuff is. I've got the greatest record that I got at Goodwill ready to go. But yeah, this is an interesting record, Hits for the Gutter. I can't really tell you anything about this. But anyway, I don't know if it's, can I say Facade Burned Black and The Shivering are huge for me, just because they are those emotional pieces that I found on vinyl, and it's, just an amazing killer experience to find something that's just this old thing, and have it be that incredible. Hater of God Records, this is on. Now, I always disliked this record because I've always been a Christian, and says it's from Hater of God Records, and there's so many reasons for me liking it, like these nice sleeves, even the, oh my goodness, it's got that thing, so that as these kinds of sleeves tend to crinkle up in your albums, this is a nicer sleeve, but it also has that curve at the bottom so that it doesn't crinkle up when you put it in there. Another good option is to put it in the poly bag separate from the jacket, and don't even use the jacket. It's just the cover. And then I released an album called Man Hates God, and then I released an album with a song on it where the lyrics are I hate God. And then I was like, oh, I understand now. Yeah, we all hate God. We all have we all have hated God, right? When apart from him, because we all reject him. We all say, he is not, whether you believe in God or not. If you're saying that you don't believe in God or don't want to live by the law, you say it's hostility toward God. And if you're a Christian, you say, no, I love God. What do you mean? Well, if you're a Christian, you believe that you've acted in sin. You believe that you have sinned. If you're a Christian, you believe where it says in Romans, I mean, we are all sinners and born in sin, right? So, which also describes it in Romans 1 as haters of God, right? That hostility toward God. We all don't want him. I suppose that's kind of, you kind of have to have my Calvinist perspective, because if you thought, oh, well, I sin, I fall short. Some bad theology would say that we're not all necessarily hostile to God, we just mess up a little bit. Couldn't be worse theology, but this is in the sludge metal area. I screwed up this genre thing that I was trying to do. But, kind of let my Christian, character out there. This is a good lead up to my favorite album of all time, Songs from the Heart of a Missionary by Dayton Smokolo. Yes, I have 2 copies. Yeah, I got 2 copies. One of them's not in great shape. I would suppose this was this one, and this one's in really good shape. That's why I put a nicer cover on this one, and this one's just more of a collector's item. Awesome. And I'll tell you why. This is what most people would consider to be bad gospel. There's a good gospel and there's bad gospel, right? Good gospel is black people, bad gospel is white people. So there's not like the emotion in there's not the excitement, right? But this has emotion, though. It's a very white thing for me to say, I suppose. The same guy that likes all those emo records, those emo violence records. I don't like regular emo. I don't like pop punk. I like Chicago pop punk, but not like pop punk. I don't know. If you like it, you know what I'm talking about. What's that guy's, Travis Barker's band? Is he dead? I don't know. I don't like NoFX. There's another band, Blink-182, I don't like. I like him okay. I could probably get into it now that I'm over. But anyway, this is incredible. His voice is strained. You hear passion. You hear emotion. You hear his voice is he's getting it out. You can hear that he's really trying, because you can hear that he really can't sing. And that's something that I've really tried to emulate. It has to be real, though. It has to be real. You know, are you actually letting out your emotions, or are you being a producer, right? Are you putting on your producer hat and saying, well, I want to get this sound, right? And so how do I get this sound, right? What do I do to my voice to make my singing sound like this? So in every instance that I sing, knowing that I can't sing, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to just let it out, right? Let it out. Feel real, true emotion and the power of God. And I think that's what makes great music, you know. Truly admirable when someone cares that much. um, and really does not hide their weakness, doesn't have any more shame, because they're just so in love with God and so passionate about what they're saying, what they're singing. And for me, in that instance, it must be the glory of God. Another great emo record, emo violence. Um, I don't know. I don't know, screamo. Black Hole Kids. I have the sticker for oh, the album's called Easy Masks, but it's on a label called Social Cancer, I believe, and I had their patch that I think came with this record, and it also came with a so big shout out to Black Hole Kids. It also came with a Bandcamp code, so I would listen to this all the time. I had it downloaded on my iPod in high school, and I would jam out to Black Hole Kids. I mean, this was a really solid release for me. It wasn't, because it had all that extra stuff, it didn't have the same impact as Facade Burn Black, right? It didn't have the same impact as the Shivering, because it wasn't like this old thing that came out of nowhere that had no markings or no, website links. Come on. I don't know. Some of these might have had like a MySpace on it, which makes it even better, actually. Yeah, like a PO box and like a fax number. Yeah, that makes it seem buried in time. Young Caucasians. This is where we get into the power pop stuff. Young Caucasians pop quiz. Yeah, I think this is something that not a lot of people probably know about. I may have heard someone mention it somewhere, though. Something was interesting. I'm sorry, I'm reading this quiz here. Something was interesting. Where did I put the 10 inches? There's more power pop in the 10 inches. But yeah, and this I think probably goes along the emo violent screamo lines. Amnesia. This has got more in it than any record. Shouts out to Karina, my little sister. Biggest sweetheart. She would run around Vinyl Conflict and run up to me with things. Oh gosh, I'm such an awful person. I don't know where. It's probably just them growing up. My sisters were so sweet when they were little. They ran up to me. Karina ran up to me. She said, "Is this cool?" And I said, "Yeah." And it's only $1. I'll get it. So I bought it. They were really excited along with me going to the record store. And this massive, there's a story. This is a book. The cover is a book. So that's, interesting. And then there's another book inside it, a nice little zine here. I'm so clumsy. So, very Dungeons and Dragons. The band Bolt Thrower is obviously very influenced by Warhammer. Reminds me of this. There's just all that action, that violence, that, and it's a really great looking record. And it's not 200 grams or anything, but nice. Yeah, actually really fell in love with this thing. And I can't believe that. I mean, it's just because no one knows what it is, but that's what I always look for. That's what I was there for. I was there for stuff that no one else knows what it is. Anything like let's use this for instance. Zero Boys. I know Zero Boys. I heard some Zero Boys. No, Raina. Shouts out to Raina. I wonder if Raina ever watches these. Zero Boys was a band, and he had I had these boots. I had these exact same boots. I think she told me about this record. But, and it was on Spotify. It was like always recommended on Spotify, I think. Oh, clean. Great reissue. I think it was a reissue. Was it? Oh no, this is probably the first one. or it was just popular enough that they put another one out. I was happy to get this one. It was a band that I always listened to, but it wasn't hard. It's really nothing special for me to bring up. But like, I don't need this record, and I didn't need to go to a record store to Vinyl Conflict to find a record like this, right? I just grabbed it because I liked it and I didn't know what else to get. But what I should have been looking for was stuff that was. I wish I had just bought every album, and that was cheap. And this is one of those things. I got this out of the used section. It was $5. Black Chronostad. I wanted to tell Roman Shower about this. He sent me a. It's kind of reminds me of a lot of neo folk. But so cool, so cool. And they had this like speech in it. And oh, I have to take it out of the. I mean, it's a jacked up record, but if anybody knows about this, well, I'm gonna learn more about it when I look it up to put this thing out. But really cool, really great record. It reminds me of Phallus Day. I don't keep any CDs in here anymore, so I can't pull it out, but and a lot of neo folk stuff, but it's black metal. It's not noise. It's black metal. If black metal had its own version of neo folk, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Scrams. I don't know. It seems. But yeah, The Free Spirit by Black Chronostad. Just take my advice and listen to it, but listen to Slavery first. That's more important. Ghoul is another band that you would know about, but I would want to have this. I'm really glad I got it. This is the aesthetics that you would find. This is art all the way. It had plenty of inserts in here. A lot of art. I'm ashamed to say. Oh yeah, and I used to be a really big fan of this artist that did this inside art right here, and I had the poster up for a long, long time. I don't know what I did with the poster. Oh no, it's a whole comic book. It's a whole comic book with the Ghoul guys running around doing stuff. So much fun. And that's another reason to collect records, is just because of all these little books that you get. Lucas Ruggieri, 2012. Oh, that's old. Ruggieri. I don't know. And then the clear vinyl with a handful of splashes, and you better believe this was one of the first full 12 inches that I got as a kid. Got a little punk rocker guy instead of the RCA dog for Tank Crimes. Tank Crimes is still one of the greatest labels. Alright, time to get into noise. Noise for the end of the day. I only have one artist, but a lot of. Oh, I forgot the 3 inches. Okay, so I'll pause. I accidentally grabbed the 56K releases in the Dry Eyes. Dry Eyes made me mad. I reached out to him. Disappointed me. I reached out to him. I said, "Did you want to do? I would love to get the rest, because he hasn't done anything with his stuff. Like, I'd love to do a trade." And he's just like, "No, I'm not interested." I was like, "All right, I hate you." And I was like, "No." I understand not wanting to get back into anything, and I just thought, he's not doing anything with his stuff, and I would like to. I have everything he's done, but yeah, I'm not really interested in trying to. I mean, I would want him to get back into it, to make money off his work, but and I think it's sad to have hundreds of CDs that you made to distribute sitting around. And maybe that'll be the case with me. Maybe I'll quit. By the way, I made 20. No, maybe more than that. A lot of these a split with Angel of the Enemy, reach out to me on Instagram or something like that if you want this. If you want, I have, I think, 7 releases, so I can do a whole lot of everything. Some of my stuff, some Roman Shower stuff, Sindor Kalashnikov. Let me know if you would like some releases like this. I have a couple. I have one like this, another one in like a cardboard sleeve with art on it, the Man Hates God alternate release, and a few in sleeves like these but bigger, from with handwritten letters, Roman Shower's self-titled album, Sindor Kalashnikov 1, Kalashnikov 1 by Sindor Kalashnikov. Shame I have on CD as well. The Shame, the split with Roman Shower. We have been doing a lot of CDs, so let me know. I can either I'll give you all those for $30 right now. Okay, so within the next month, I can give all those at least. Reach out to me if you're interested in any of those CDs at all. I would probably do the whole lot for $30, probably $5 each, which probably come out to $10 shipping. So that's why I recommend the whole lot. And if you have other CDs to trade, let me know. Did want to say that real quick. But yeah, I was trying to do something like that with Dry Eyes. I was like, listen, I can't just buy everything that you have, but we can work something out. He's like, no, which is understandable. But it's not necessarily worth, if you want them, you know, but it's not worth, it's not doing any good to support him, you know, which is a silly thing for me to do in the first place, you know. But I didn't realize that he just doesn't work anymore. I thought he would still be at least a little bit interested in his own work. Kubatu Asparagus is another artist who I got everything he had available anyway. All his stuff is pretty much gone for the most part. All the time. Well, no. I wouldn't say that. He's always got, I'm sure, a lot of CDs ready to go. Kubatu Asparagus is the main thing. I talked about this in a short earlier today. This is his main project. These are harsh noise walls, right? Largely. And then we have the 3 inches with harsh noise, which are under a different name. Janky Funeral, which are a little bit more fun and interesting. What I listened to, did I listen to one of the 3 inches? I listened to Flash Mob. I already listened to Flash Mob and Serpent. Serpent was awesome. What both of the albums did, or both of the releases did, was calm me way down at the beginning of the second track. They were like, great, soothing noise. The only thing that I could say is similar to that is Giannis Xenakis, who is a genius. So, really, I DM'd him and he left me on red, but he left me a nice note. I can't remember what he said, but he left me a relatively nice note in the mail. Oh, yeah. No, so I have a love-hate relationship with him, which is known. I don't know him at all. He's like a weird, it'd probably be better not to have a friendship with a guy. He's a little weird. He's a little strange. He's like one of those guys with the leather mask on, like one of them. I thought he was like one of the like leather gay dudes with the like a cop hat on type of thing. Anyway, he's a very alternative person, but great noise walls. And I suppose I knew it would be that way. I had put off, because it's kind of, the stuff is sexually themed, largely, if you can see. Nuns with Guns, I thought that was funny, and I wanted to get the 3 inch, but as you can see with all this stuff, it's relatively, I don't know, yeah, there's some like war-themed stuff in here, which is what I tend to go for, and like this and Serpent are a little bit more my style, but these, I mean, I don't really have a problem not knowing him that well. That being the case. I will say though, at a certain point, I was like, I had avoided his work for a while. Something like Headset is um, a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable for me. The 56K releases are a lot more fun and enjoyable in general because you don't have to say this. Like, you don't have to say, okay, well, this is the theme. Because I kind of avoid harsher themes that I don't necessarily agree with, but I don't think that this glorifies Janky Funeral and Kabadu Asparagus. I don't think that he's glorifying sexuality. I think that he's expressing that. I think that he's probably a person that's very tied up in sexuality, and I think that it's a very accurate, when you use noise music to express that kind of thing, it's a very accurate example of it. Um, I use it to express sin, and me seeing that as something that is sinful, it's an accurate depiction, right? Um, so it's art to me. Um, Most of these things in general are, like, I would say that this kind of glorifies, and I'm not worried about it because I bought this when I was 13, but this kind of glorifies um, crassness, I suppose. It's in and I was talking about how Youth Attack kind of turned me into a individual who likes to swear a lot, and how that was a bad thing. But this doesn't. When I see his work, it doesn't sway you a certain way. Well, I don't know, maybe I could. No, that's not how it works. It's an artistic example. So not that I don't like Headset. I really do love Bad For You and his releases. I can't remember what my favorite Headset release was. I think it was his second Headset too. But Bad For You was also really good. So anyway, his stuff is really great. And you can tell that he's a sophisticated artist, and he's doing his job well. So I don't know. I'm starting to move away from the goofier stuff. Again, it's a real pendulum for me, going from goofy stuff to sophisticated stuff. But I grew up with grindcore and things like that, so it's hard for me not to get a kick out of it. And look, I've got, you know what the funny thing is? I've got all the sizes, right? Looking at 3 inches, 5 inches, 7 inches, and 12 inches. I could use this for the cover. Let me get a better one of these. Nose with Guns is a good cover. I've already used I have 10 inches too. Hold on, folks, we're getting a thumbnail. No one listens, no one watches the whole video like this. So, it's okay. Say hi to me if you have watched this long. Perfect. That's the one. That's the one. Okay, so 3 inches, 5 inches, 7 inches, 10 inches, and 12 inches. Whoa! How wild and crazy is that? These I can put in the Yu-Gi-Oh bag. I can't put anything else in there. So I'm going to get back to some of the Power Pop 10 inches. Young Caucasians is the main recommendation that I have for my Power Pop fans. If you're looking for Power Pop. If you don't know what Power Pop is, listen to the Nasty Facts 7-inch, Drive My Car, and you will know what Power Pop is, and you'll probably like it. Beneath Oblivion's a big pick for me, as far as Stoner Doom. Very Ape in the grips both. Let me just hit both of these at the same time. These are punk rock bands. Negative Step. I don't know if you've noticed. I have a poster of up there. That's what that is right there. You can't really tell right now. Negative Step is a fun punk band as well. And Propaganda is I think gay. Cowboys Alone, Two Lovers. Makes me feel like it's a gay thing. I'm pretty sure that they're gay, but Propaganda is definitely power pop from Moscow. And Back on the Streets is probably my favorite punk rock ever. Definitive of the genre for me. How I found out about it. Every size ever here on Noiseville High then. 12 inches, 10 inches, 7 inches, 5 inches, 3 inches. And a cassette tape. One cassette tape. Now I'm too tired to take all that stuff back. So let me just let you know, you gotta listen to Slavery. You gotta listen to Slavery. Please. It's the only way I'm making money. I have nothing except these records. You know? You know? I'm just kidding. I'm doing perfectly fine. But listen to the record. I really like it. And I think you will too. If you like, it's kind of film scorey. It's honestly, cinematic. And I'm not playing to an audience that would appreciate it. So I need to think about that. You know? Going through all this punk rock stuff. It's not the same thing anymore, my music. But I'm not plugged into anything else. You know, I'm just barely plugged into punk music, so I don't know how to access art that's like that. But reach out to me if you need anything. For now. Thank you so much.